Hi folks, welcome to my channel, and today Postman's been and brought my latest 2 editions of Total Tarot magazine, so I thought I'll open it with you, share it with you, and you can see what's in this package. Okay, I'll just get the scissors. I've got rather an enthusiastic flame on my candle for some reason. We'll keep an eye on that because it could be dangerous. Right, so this issue 27. Get everything out. 26 and 27. Okay. So we have the Egyptian tarot this time. Which, I will be honest, I'm underwhelmed by. I did mention, I think, in the last Total Tarot magazine's unboxing that I knew this one was coming. And I actually did have this deck a while ago and gifted it. But maybe I'll get on with it better this time. We shall see. Okay, let's just put the magazines to one side for a second. And have a look what we've got. So we've got the next 2 cards in our Golden Art Nouveau Tarot. And these are the 7s of the 7 of Cups and the 7 of Wands. And again, we've got the beautiful, beautiful gilt accents. So pretty. Really nice large size as well. And we have the Egyptian tarot, so we've got the major and the minor arcana tarot. So, really easy to open. So we've got the title card, as usual, from Lo Scarabeo. So let's have a little look. I am, at the moment, heavily into the Thoth Tarot, so that is based on Thoth himself was an Egyptian god, so there are correlations there, and I can see here, you know, the crocodile of the Thoth card is on here, so I sort of get that, but I don't know very, very much about Egyptian mythology. So it's still going to be a little bit difficult, I think. If I want to actually connect to these cards, then I think there's going to be quite a bit of study involved. Egyptian history and theology and mythology. And am I willing to do that? That's really the big question, isn't it? I have no idea who these figures are. They absolutely must be something in history. I recognise that as an ibis. But this is our magician, and the only reason I know this is our magician is because of the number on the card, otherwise I wouldn't know. High Priestess. Empress. Emperor. You know, if you were new to tarot, you'd be at a loss, and I think that's where I'm talking a long time ago when I had this deck, a long time ago, and it flummoxed me, and I think I can understand why it flummoxed me looking at it now in hindsight. I can see why I didn't connect to it. Hierophant. See, I can see it now. I can see the glyphs. I can see, you know, what that's about. There's, actually, I'm going to put a photograph up here of, there's a place called the Egyptian House in Penzance. Just reminded me of it. I'll put a picture up for you. It's an amazing building down in Penzance. Lovers. Chariot. Strength. Hermit. The Wheel of Fortune. Or is that Strength? If that is Strength, so that must be Judgment. Yes, see? That's Judgment. I just looked here and thought Lions, Strength, but actually look, it's Judgment because she's got the scales. I can see why it confused me back in the day. This is definitely Strength, so we've got the Marseille numbering system here, not the Rider-Waite-Smith. Ooh, well, this is the Hanged Man. That's a bit of a difficult card, isn't it? Ooh. We have Death. So, yeah, we're being weighed here, aren't we? Now, where did I see it? This pot here represents the heart. Now, I know that now because of the Mystical Dream Tarot. I've been looking at that. I've got that tarot and looking at a couple of videos that the author of that tarot has put up many years ago, actually. And she was talking here about the symbology on her card. And apparently that shaped part symbolises the heart. So we've got the heart and the feather there, and we're being judged, really, on whether we're worthy in death of going to heaven, or the Egyptian equivalent, whatever that is. Interesting, yeah? I'll put a link to the video actually where she discusses that. Okay, so here we've got Temperance. It's an angel. Yeah, so I mean it is useful because we have got the astrological glyphs there. So if you know about the astrology of tarot, you will be able to pick up what's what here. So this is our devil, chained to the devil. So yeah, that makes sense. The Tower. The Star. You can see similarities there to the Rider-Waite-Smith. The Moon. So we've got the dark and white animals there. We've got the polarities there, look, black and white. Okay. The Sun. So I'm going to presume, no, I was going to presume Ra, but because he's the sun god, isn't he? But that looks female. I don't know. Really? Still don't know. Okay. So 20. So we've got Judgment. And then the final card of the Major Arcana here. Okay, so I can see some similarities there to the Rider-Waite-Smith, but it's not an easy deck if you're beginning. It really isn't. So I can see why they waited until part 26, part 27 to actually include this one. Should we have a look at the pip cards? So if we look in part 27, because that's where the minors are, and we go to this page here, let's zoom out. We've got this here visual reference to the cards, so we can actually see what's what here. So yeah, and of course we've got a visual reference to the majors in part 26 here. All right. So let's start with wands, because you know I like starting with wands. If ever you've watched any of my unboxing videos, I start with wands. My preferred way is wands, cups, swords and pentacles, because that's the way I learned. Okay. I don't think I'm going to have much to say about the pick cards really. Okay, so that was the wands. Let's go on to the cups. There's the cups, so let's now go on to the swords. And finally the pentacles. Okay, so those are the pip cards, and the majors. I have seen some of the motifs repeating themselves in some of the cards, which is quite interesting. But let's just actually see if the magazines help us. I mean, I noticed all the pages are scribes. I don't know if you picked up on that. Hold on. Let's get, so they're all scribes. See? So there's something to explore there. Okay, so let's have a little look at the magazines. We'll start with 26, shall we go in order? Okay, let's move my little crystals out of the way so I don't lose them. In this issue, what are we talking about? We're talking about negative cards. So here we've got the death image from the Arcanum Tarot, which we had in parts 18 and 19, as an illustration of a scary card, I suppose. That's interesting, isn't it? Wow, look at these. Oh, I love that one. That's the Fae Tarot. Oh, that's going to be nice. When do we get that? Just as coming up. Oh, that's exciting. Removing cards. Some readers remove cards. Oh, I'm not sure about that. But, you know, everyone's their own unique tarot reader. So some advice on dealing with negative cards. And then we've got the Four of Cups as the card in detail. And the symbols included in our study deck. Essential meanings. Life passes quickly if you don't pay attention. Isn't that the truth? Ooh. How many times have you heard people say, oh, I don't know where the time went? And then we've got the keywords, a little bit about it. What else have we got? In the themes, so in your personal life, divination, psyche and soul. What the card shows us, examples from other decks. This is Tarot of the Angels, parts 34 and 35. So that one's coming up. So this is the Worth Tarot. There's that Klimt. They keep teasing me with these Klimt images. In the Pagan Tarot, it represents not noticing what's precious. In the Harmonious Tarot, it represents tiredness. In the, what's this one? Lo Scarabeo Tarot, it represents boredom. In the Tarot Illuminati, past hurts lead into denial. In the Fae Tarot, taking things for granted. Shaman Tarot, purifying the environment. Tarot of the Dark Grimoire, change is in the air. And the Universal Celtic Tarot is lack of stimuli. That's really helpful, isn't it? And it shows us that actually set meanings can change a little bit with different decks. So, you know, the deck creator's intentions. So we've got a spread here. This one is the pyramid spread, which is yeah, thematic with Egyptians. Okay. And it's an 8 card spread. So, yeah. So these are the positions, and we have a summary of it. Then we've got an example of that. Then we've got the library, deck library page, where it tells you a little bit of the background of the tarot deck, ways of reading, and then we've got a little section for each card, each card's meaning, and there's not a lot there, but to be fair, when you get a Lo Scarabeo deck and the little white book. There's not a lot in that either. So we're not losing any information by not buying the original deck, if you know what I mean. Yeah. I would like to know, personally, who these characters are in Egyptian symbolism, you know? Who were they? So we've got the court here. So it tells you... Okay, so if we went back to those pages, the Cups one is a studious youngster. The Pentacles is a creative youngster. The Wands is a messenger. And the Swords is a lawyer or a spy. So here we've got a little tiny bit for each of the minor arcana. So for example, the Eight of Pentacles, the Sacred Tree, stability, manual or commercial ability, professional capacity. Now, just by looking at that image, would you immediately think of those keywords? If I showed you that card, would you say, oh, that's stability, manual or commercial ability, and professional capacity? I challenge you to say yes. So what I'm saying is, you've got to memorise these if you want to work with this tarot. Okay, so as I said, we've got a visual representation of the cards. So here we've got the majors. How to use the magazine, so as we normally get. And then what's coming. The before tarot will be coming in the next mailing. Now that one will be interesting. The perfect deck does not exist. Okay, personal development. To grow, you must break down your mental walls and move beyond them. There is no perfect tool for every job, but every job has one perfect tool. Okay, so it's comparing decks and what's ideal for you. So we've got the mental deck, the physical deck, setting expectations aside, and the quest. So it's trying to find the deck that actually works for you, is what they're saying here, isn't it? So this little section here, reading mentally and physically, really rings true for me, because when I look at a deck, any deck, when I unbox a deck, in my mind's eye, I am seeing the Rider-Waite-Smith and I'm seeing the Thoth deck. That's what I see. And I compare each card in my mind to those two decks. That's what it's saying here, really. If you look at the Emperor, for example, you won't just see the Emperor from that specific deck, but also the versions of that card from all the decks you've ever seen. Well, I always go back to the Rider-Waite-Smith because that's the OG deck, isn't it? But as I've said in many of my unboxings, the reasons that I like different decks is because they bring different layers of meaning, and it deepens my own knowledge, my own esoteric knowledge, and I like that. Golden Art Nouveau. Okay, 5 of Cups is our card in detail. I always see this as the card of grief. So we've got the symbols, essential meanings, key phrase, and then the keywords. And then in your personal life, divination, psyche and soul, what the card shows us, and then other versions. What versions have we got? The Worth, the Angels, Tarot of the Angels, the Klimt. Where are we getting that Klimt tarot? Right, and so here we go. So we've got the Los Scarabeo, John Bauer, Tarot of the White Cats, Pagan Tarot, Pre-Raphaelite, Nefertiti's Tarot. I wonder how much that differs from the Egyptian Tarot. Tarot Illuminati and the Fae. I'm looking forward to that Fae Tarot as well. Correlation, so we've got a little bit of the Tree of Life here. Lord of Loss in Pleasure. See, that's a Thoth reference. And we've got a spread, and this is the Triple Dissonance. It examines a querent's doubts from 3 different perspectives before they make a decision. So that's what it's about. Certainty, doubt, balance and outcome. The an example of that spread. And then what's this? Tarot techniques, tarot for expression. Different ways of looking at the tarot card here. So a daily card draw, and if we get repeating cards, recurring themes, picturing people, so someone you know is represented in your deck. And here, what do we have here? Tarot history, forefathers. So it's all about the history of tarot and where we started. So it goes from 1725 to 1947 and the main players in the tarot world. So that's interesting. It looks like it's going to be a new series. An introduction to our series about the people most influential in tarot's development into the esoteric art that we know today. Tarot Forefathers 1, so we're starting with Papas. Yeah, I like that picture, it's really good. Not quite sure what this says here, but that will be an interesting series to learn about the history of how tarot started and the development of it. Some very famous figures there, if you know your tarot. Interesting. And then how to use this issue magazine, and then the glimpse of what we're getting next, which is the Before Tarot. So the Before Tarot is what happens in the Rider-Waite-Smith seconds or minutes before the image you actually see on the Rider-Waite-Smith itself. And we're getting the other two sevens, so we're of the Art Nouveau. So we'll be getting the Seven of Pentacles and the Seven of Swords. The card in detail, Seven of Cups, and card in detail, the Six of Cups. So that's what we've got to look forward to. Anyway, just knock the camera. Anyway, that's my little walkthrough of my latest issues of Total Tarot magazine. Very subjective, I'm afraid, totally from my own point of view. As I said, and I'll reiterate it, if you are new to tarot, go with the Rider-Waite-Smith clone. Do not go with this deck. I think you need some experience first before you can actually tackle this deck. I wouldn't think there's enough information anyway in these magazines to help. It's very scant. I think you would have to research Egyptian history, mythology, in order to work with this deck. And that's my opinion. And of course, it is just my opinion. So maybe it's one that really calls to you. Maybe. Maybe it's just me. Possibly, actually. But yeah, that's the Egyptian tarot. Which I'm afraid, well, I'm going to read the books through, the magazines through, see how I feel about it, but I've got this awful premonition that it'll go in its box, never to see the light of day again, so it might be one I gift. We'll see how we get on. But yeah, well, thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Okay, bye folks, bye.